Good morning, Suraj Singh. Regarding safety issues, HSE, health, safety and environment, I started talking few weeks back. Safety, health and environment, and management of ergonomics. I made many discussions in this subject, in this discipline, which is very wide disciplines. Very wide discipline now is a disciplines of disciplines, and many disciplines are coming in. Activities in disciplines, operations in these disciplines, and various scopes in these disciplines, which cannot be just enumerated or listed with. This depends upon each project and depends upon your intention what to do, and also how safety is covered. Safety, health, and environment is easy, very easy in a sense that if you take care, it's not a difficult job, and if you ignore it, it is very difficult. It's essential, it is mandatory to do it, and if you don't do it according to standards, international standards, whatever work you are doing, if it's not safe, if it's a risk, if it's risky, if it's risky for fatalities, we have to avoid fatalities, we have to avoid major injuries, and it is better to avoid minor injuries also. But sometimes everything is not under control. Certain activities which where a degree of negligence occurs, in say example even 0.1% of negligence can lead to injuries due to accidents, and we have to be careful about this. Those who are serious, who understand what's outcome of certain inaction or carelessness, they have to worry about. You know, little negligence can certainly lead to death sometime, which can be avoided, or which, if in certain circumstances, had there been an intention to look after properly, this would have been avoided. Later on, we talk like that. But later on, talking got no meaning if there is no precautionary measure adopted by every supervisor and every person involved with work, because safety is responsibility of each and everybody. There can be no person available at site with every worker to tell him what to do and what not to do. Every worker has to understand safety, has to apply safety on its own, because safety is responsibility for each and everyone. Even though you are not on work, you are off work, you have to take safety measures. Safety is root of good health, it's root of good work, it's root of, you can say, confidence. And when there is no safety, you feel that something may happen, you cannot concentrate on job. If suppose I'm working on a slab, a concrete slab pouring, and I am not sure about my slab supports, propping system, supporting system, and I always feel, oh, maybe there's something wrong. If some support sinks or something else happens, that kind of negative approach comes to my mind, because I could not check all supports. I missed someone, or I just depended upon persons who are responsible for that, and I trusted them. But you see, everybody is different. Efficiency of everyone is different. You may trust them. Thus, trust it does not mean confirmation. Trust is valueless because trust is not logical. Trust depends upon confidence. If you have confidence, somebody you can have trust in him, but trust doesn't mean justification. Either you check everything yourself, or you have a reasonably professional person who is logical and who you think that that person is well tested and he does what he says, that is fine. But if you say, no, I trust him, no, you have not to trust someone, you have to rely on someone. So there is a difference in trust and rely. Trust is something very low profile, where reliability means that person has to do it. Well, this is not something which I'm talking about. I'm talking safety concern and safety, health, and environment. Because without safety, health cannot come in. Without health, environment cannot come in. Without environment, you cannot use your potential energy, your kinetic energy, your dynamic energy, or you can say your ergonomical energy in a proportional way, in a rational way, and you waste your own energy, which is given to you free of cost. Everybody has got that energy that must be properly utilized, and if it is utilized in work, it results very well. Well, Every day explaining a lot doesn't mean anything, but sometime you speak something once, then again, and reiterate that every time. At least something is left on viewer's mind, or those persons who are watching this, or those persons who are understanding this. They can go just to remember, oh, that person said this something. So it is very, you can say it's a question of very seriousness, because work is always serious. Work is not joke. Work is not entertainment. You have to be with work if you want to do good work. And where lives are involved, where material is involved, where time is involved, where money is involved, means you, if you lose someone, you lose money, you lose time, you lose reputation, everything. To avoid that, we have to be safe, we have to be sound, we have to be reliable, we have to be, you can say, emotional as well. Because emotion doesn't mean sentimental. Emotion means you have to care for people, you have to listen to people, you have to understand them, you have to, they must have a view that you are with them. It's not that you are a donkey and I'm sticking you, I'm throwing a stick on your head, do it or hell with. It's not that. They are humans like me and like you. We cannot keep off from them. Maybe they are not well educated, they are less educated, and that is the reason they are working for your job. So they have to be given proper treatment, adequate treatment, human treatment. You cannot consider even animals. If you are working for them, you have to give them proper treatment. You can give very good food to your dog, pet dog, and you can give milk and meat to them, but to these people you don't care about. It's not safety. Food is also safe. It's a question of safety. Water is also a question of safety. If a person dehydrates, you have to see problem of health, detrimental health, deteriorating health. Keep a person drying every day, and you will still get so many diseases in his body, many diseases in the mind. You have to avoid that. For all that issue, for all that solution, we have a systematic view, we have a systematic study and systematic approach to understand that, and that is called safety. Safety methods, safety procedures, safety environment, safety health, all that is linked in one. We have to understand that. I just worked on certain papers in this issue, and certain, you can say, writings are here, and just delivering them gradually to you one by one. So yes, I know people don't want to study these days. People don't want to read these days. Everybody thinks that one is too busy, despite being that they are not busy. Nevertheless, they think that, okay, let them think they are busy and they have no time at all. It's your responsibility whether you have time or don't have time. If you want something safe, you have to learn. If you don't want to learn, I am not forcing somebody to learn. It's your choice. You have to decide. You are your own judge. When you're working for someone, you're working for a project. And if you are not working for a project, it's not your problem. If you're working for a project, it's a problem for yourself, because yes, you're not owner of the project, but your activities are, you're owning your activities, you're owning your risk, everything you have to own. Risk factors you have to understand, work factor you have to understand. If risk is considered, risk is controlled, pre-controlled, you can say, you know what would happen if you don't do it. There will be negative circumstances and negative results. To make them positive and reliable, you have to pre-understand risks, and you understand risk, then you can find solutions for that, and that's what is required. Once you find solution, you apply solutions and get job done safe, which is target, which is milestone of whatever work you do. Safety is pre-consideration, safety is pre-handling, safety is precautionary measure, not post happening. If you can do all that, you are best person in your profession. And if you just leave it, oh, let time take care of, then certainly bridges will come down, buildings will sink, accident will happen, people will die, and resources will be wasted. That situation is not for engineers or for good people. That situation is of foolish people. So those can be called foolish who do not understand this, that we have to understand pre-arrangements, not post-arrangements. If you understand pre-arrangements, how to keep things safe, how to keep your work safe, that is called intelligence, and that is called brilliance. Minimum accidents means brilliance. And if you may say, oh, it's very small accident, very minor accident. No, no accident is small, no accident is minor. Why should there be an accident when you are there? Until there is some calamity. Otherwise, there should be no accident. When you are working from point to point, detail to detail, there should be complete safety, but you are not delivering that. You are excusing, you are taking excuses that this is because of this. No, everything is because of you. because you did not care for that well. You have to decide yourself, you are right or you are wrong, because self analysis is very important than analysis done by others. What I used to say, don't be careless, care for others first, and before that care for yourself. If you are safe, you can help others to remain safe, and if others are safe, they can keep work activities safe, good work and good business, good money, good time, good reputation, and bad work means everything is bad. So safety is like that. You should understand this point. If you understand this point, you'll be very, very fine, otherwise not. So I said that whatever I'm saying, our construction activities are always very, very different, in sense that you can say construction projects, civil projects, and we may say that more, we can say about 75% funds are utilized on construction projects, development projects, national and international projects, and more than 50% is seriously covered on this one. And engineers from every disciplines are involved on these projects, along with workers, along with crew, you can say crew, working crew. And there are millions of workers involved. So you can say if there are millions of workers, and in case safety is not taken care of, there will be thousands of accidents, there will be thousands of casualties due to those accidents. Therefore, it is our duty, it's our right, it is our privilege, it is our charter to have complete awareness about safety. It's awareness, it's not detailed engineering study for everybody. It's awareness. You have to understand how to minimize, how to make it zero. That is very important. And if you are able to do that, you are very fine person, you are very fine professional, because that will save time of activities, that will save time of quality correction, and that will save everything, where you can waste time, you can waste material, you can may waste money. So it's very important from that point of view. And whatever I said, that generally we are concerned in safety, and that is safety policy. We are concerned with management system, site security, hand tools, first aid regulations, permit to work system, housekeeping, safety training, emergency and evacuation plan, fire protection, PPE, excavation safety, control, storage and use of hazardous materials, incident reporting, lifting, rigging and hoisting, radiography operations, night working, scaffolding and ladders, temporary electrical supply, welding and cutting, working at height and fall, prevention, abrasive wheels and construction, environment control, hazards control, confined space entry, road safety and vehicles operations, reward system, compressed gas cylinder, heat stress safety, practice safe practices, discipline enforcement, safe work, sketches and certain projects. And what I am to say, safety policy is a must. If you have a safety policy on your project, on your company, you have complete information, what you have to do, what you don't have to do. And management system says how your system is managed. You are a part of that system. You should understand complete system of management on your project and site and offices. And then site security means everything should be secured on site. In those people who are not required on site should not be allowed to go to site, because ultimately when they enter site, there's a risk of safety. And hand tools are there, which are very, very considerable, because the tools that must be taken care of, there are hundreds of tools that we use with hands operate, and electrical tools and non-electrical tools, and everybody must take care of that. It's very important, generally, which is a root of certain minor and major accidents. Then first aid regulations are there. First aid means is a preventive measure, we must take care of that. Then permit to work, hard work, cold work. Without permit you cannot work. Whatever kind of permit is there, it may be a plant area, it may not be a plant area, a building area, but certain kind of permit is necessary for working. It will be approved by consultant, approved by authority, it will be approved by operator. And then housekeeping is very important. Housekeeping means whatever house is there, it may office house, it may be, you can say, working house, it may be workshop, it may be site, or it may be open or closed one. And that is all you may call it house, and it should be kept tidy all the time. And that's very important. And safety training, everybody should be given initial safety training as well as intermediate safety training, and then continuous safety training. to attain all like immunity depending upon type of responsibility you are having in an emergency and evacuation plan. Whenever existence of emergency is there, you have to take care of people to have escape from that area, and that is very important. Then fire protection, fire is no forecast of fire, and fire very dangerous, cannot be suppressed. It can be suppressed, then we consider also, but question is fire has no volume, fire has no weight, fire is unknown, and fire cannot be controlled if you don't take care of. And fire doesn't know any boundary, doesn't know anything, it moves like no control is on that. And PP is called PP as a personal protective equipment. One should take care of that, because PP is very basic in form of safety is concerned. It's for everyone that PP must be taken care of depending on type of activity or channel activity, depends upon that. PP should not be taken, should not be ignored. And excavation safety is, the excavation is a very important one. Excavation, you mean to say excavation to start work, excavation in deep depth, or excavation in shallow depth, excavation of roads, or excavation in footpaths, or wherever excavation is there. Everybody is expecting, everybody can fall into that. If doesn't know, it may be night time, it may be daytime, doesn't make a difference, but you should take every precaution to avoid all such accidents. That's what is a responsible person must be there when the excavation is there, so that one has to take safety from existing services as well as one has to take service of fall of people. Existing services also there, which may be live electric current, or live water supply, or live whatever the idea, or you can say their telephone network, southern network. You have to take care of the safety from record drawings, and then control storage and use of hazardous materials, and control the storage. You have to take control of stores and hazardous materials, maybe there explosive one or flammable one. Incident reporting, there is accident will cause one, and you have to understand that, investigate that, find reasons of that, then report what happened, could not happen, and take care of those who are affected by this accident. Those who or casualties or victims must be taken care of by hospitalization, of allowing good food to them for an early recovery. And then lifting, rigging, and hoisting. Lifting means you have to shift materials, you have to excavate, and you have to do some hoisting, or they must be taken care of. And then radiography operations. Radiography is a very serious issue, and that may be taken care of in isolation. If there are no work in the and when there's no existence of nobody working around, and all precautions must be taken there. Radio waves do not penetrate outside. The night working is very essential. Night working, because in emergency work where isolation is required, where you can say peace is required, where others should not be disturbed. Industrial cities or somewhere, scaffolding and ladders are very important, because this is access to higher levels, and it people work at higher channel, and ladders are used and scaffolders used, and we have to understand where to find which type of these scaffolding and ladders should be allowed, and temporary electric supplies there's necessary on every project. Without that work is not possible. What you have to take care of, because temporary electric supply is very serious issue. Somebody can cable is open line, somebody kicks out of walking door, nobody knows what's down, and this wire is broken, short circuit, so you can say spark occurs there, which is very dangerous, or you can say whole system can go wrong. And welding includes very heavy duty work, is medium duty work. You have to take care of the pressure welding, non-pressure welding, or cutting, or type of, then the working heights and full for prevention. I just explained to us about working height and fall prevention. Then abrasive winds and construction environment control, and then hazardous control. It's a very big topic, hazardous control. And confined space entry means there's a question of respiration. They are here to take care of how to keep persons safe and well ventilated area. And then road safety and vehicles operations, very important. The reward systems, you have to take care of incentives of people. And then compressed gas cylinders, very common, that these cylinders are very important to be controlled with, otherwise these themselves can become bomb. And then heat stress is a very specific issue. Everybody cannot be allowed to have heat stress, means you have to take care of how to protect sun effects on individual workers, how to help them, then safety practices, then enforcement, so all these and safe work. That's what we will discuss all this in and I have put certain sketches also on audio on this. You can say this video text. If you go there and find URL which gives you certain sketches which I use in my life and imagination. I just consider them, how this safety of excavation can be taken, safety of various buildings or structures can be taken over, how scaffoldings are done, how movement is, and all that. This very small, this not complete, but it will give just an idea how to work by profession, how to work in profession on such issues, and that is what is about. And then we have to go to paper now. I'll not explain this excavation gently. Yesterday I was delivering this. I was just discussing with this paper that was delivered, that was talked of in brief in certain seminar, and I could not have time time to detail out this to people, but it simply says that Yesterday I discussed with this, and it's a general point. What about this brief on that was, and brief I just repeat so that it's clear to me. And it was that submission relates to SHE to be conducted in civil buildings and facilities heavy works where large number of workers are with dedication. They apply to both locations indoors and outdoors. At ground height highs, workers are exposed to all weather conditions, which leads to long-term possible danger of health and deterioration of work-related fatal accidents caused due to fatigue and carelessness. Also, instant dangers are susceptible at all times, which can only be prevented by application of SHE measures in reality, and not just for namesake. It has been observed in many cases that various nationality workers do not like, partly not to wear hard hats and safety harness, partly during bad weather conditions. Supervising personnel do not attend to this issue, ignoring it, whereas SHE, specific personnel also do not work with dedication. Various systems require procedures are referred in this paper, which may assist working personnel. SHE is cancer, safety, health, and environment. And then you go to where yesterday I discussed something about a weather inclement weather conditions, that's in temperature consideration, wind speed consideration, humidity consideration, then it is a pressure considerations, UV index, which is ultraviolet index consideration, that can be sometimes a maximum is applicable as 0 to 10, but up to more than 4 is called dangerous or heavy, you can say high, and then you go 10 to 14, 15, so very, very high end. It's a skin causing effect. Then explanation of that was done, and then you can say once again I explain about UV. You can say explanation is very brief, and it should be 0 in morning and evening. Between 10 a.m. and 4 a.m. ultraviolet index has been varying up to value of 15, but should be 0 and 4, whereas 10 is maximum limit. UI 5 to 15 is extremely dangerous, for it can cause skin cancer on expert parts of body, it can cause cataract, etc., and can also cause a skin impact. Body must be fully covered, and bigger size eyeglasses must be used. Use screen creams that are UV resistant. Use UV resistant work clothes and cap go to shade during this UVI. And state avoid drying in towels. Stay off window glazing if glazing are tinted for 75% solar light reflection. Europe nations suggest have been impacted by heat index and UV index in year 2019, and France has reached 38 degrees and more than that. 38 degrees Celsius, and US is 38 to 42 degrees Celsius. No way for relief to these cold weather habituals. More demands of air conditioners, more concentration of carbon dioxide, more pollution, then cloud cover is an issue, and then ceiling of clouds, and then dew points visibility. These were common, and then we go measurement, why discuss industrial safety, and there's possible contents to be considered as the management, safety policy, safety management system, operation chart, and then induction of site security, safety training, PPEs, first aid regulations, PPEs, hand tools, housekeeping, then operation areas, permanent works, permit to work, confined space entry, etc. Then excavation, temporary active safety, etc. And then vertical activities preparing for temporary works. So this is a specialized consideration was discussed. And then it was organizational broad quality policy system was discussed, and definition regarding certain terms. And then we come to foreman, and then it was about that, and the responsibility general respecting this. Let's say responsibility in general. I'll start with this now. Supervisor and foreman, then company safety policy, including, so that we can refresh all this definitions. They start, and let's say then I will move further on this because yesterday it was not completed. I say let's start again here so that there's a little overlapping and refreshing. Organizational broad quality system policy means organization adopts a policy of lead contracting to aid developed nation. Organization believes in to produce and deliver with assurance each best engineering products at optimum cost, using efficient, available, and procurable infrastructure and resources to serve reputation customers. Clients need by action of which to earn its reputation. SHE related requirements must be included within project charter, and project charter I just tried to explain yesterday, which is it contains complete information, authorization, financial aspects, and everything about project, whatever is running. An attempt is required earnestly to deliver products and project efficiently with the value added and value engineers over fulfilling requirements, and customer must get what has been paid by for such delivery. Value engineer delivery certificate and assures an organizational commitment in competitive environment. Top management believes to employ suitable qualified team managers and personnel with proven track records, professional-based, international professional-based, considerable construction relevant business experience. And then if we go down to definitions of regarding these terms, we use a safety SHE, which means safety, health, and environment, and disciplines to support project activities, and company or client means an organization carrying out or prosecuting a project. And number three is a contractor, means an organization that has one project from client company. Then subcontractor means an organization that has one part of project work from contractor organization. Then personal means all personnel involved on project or site activities. And then responsibility means job safety and contractor responsibility. Then training means a training imparted for a specific purpose, specific safety topic on job site. And then management means organization top, middle, and lower line management. And safety manager means a person with job title safety manager deployed by certain organization. And project manager means a person as such with the project manager title deployed by contractor. Engineer means a person appointed by client or client company for an overall project responsibility. Then come to company safety policy, including safety plan. Safety plan shall give many details, and that one let us consider are those responsibilities of senior management, responsibility of site management, employees, accident and dangers related control procedures, definitions, and must safe use and maintenance of plant, and safe use and maintenance of vehicles, and safe use and maintenance of tools, equipment, and machinery. Provisions of personal protective clothing and equipment, the training of employees of all cadres, provisions of feedback from all personnel for safety consultation, and then provision of safe access and egress for all the properties, premises, and sites. Issue of safety policies or statements for individual site properties or premises. Then supervisors and foremen, the significant line managers are these. Supervisors and foremen are directly responsible for HSE acts conducted by all personnel working following their directions and controls. Ensure that all the written safety procedures are available with responsible personnel, and also briefly posted on notice boards in language workers know scripts. Ensure that general toolbox tasks are duly delivered to related groups and refreshers. Toolbox tasks are also conducted. Ensure that workers calling in their departments are competent and fully trained on performing tasks, calling and well aware of company safety policy. Must ensure that all workers are aware of any whatever possible hazardous operations of procedures regarding worksite, department and operations are allotted task activities. Ensure that all workers are aware of locations and how to use any all relevant firefighting equipment. Ensure that all workers are aware of locations of first aid facilities together with name of qualified first aid personnel. Ensure that all safety procedures are followed with. Ensure that all equipment, machinery, plant, tools, vehicles, etc. in use are fully serviceable and safe to use. Ensure that all safety devices on any or all machinery, plant, tools, vehicles, etc. are fitted, serviceable, and being used. Ensure that any whatever necessary personal protective equipment or clothing is being used or worn is suitable for intended purpose. Ensure that no loose or dangerous clothing is being worn by equipment, plant, machinery operators or other workers in the vicinity or rotating or traversing machinery or equipment. Then responsibilities in general respecting certain contract positions. Project manager responsible for overall obligations to provide a schedule, all resources, directions, engineering resolutions. Site manager responsible for overall site prosecution management over workers and subcontractors. Site safety officer responsible for overall safety management on site and report to project manager. Site manager, corporate safety manager. Construction manager responsible to arrange all safety related resources and provide the site team all the requirements. Project site engineer responsible to carry out the safety issues within the sections. Site safety inspector engineer responsible to supervise safety measures on site and to control safety issues. Should direct suggest to site line management to adopt the correct measures, and site foreman responsible for compliance of safety measures and as standards as directed. Then, an individual working on site responsible for maintaining safety measures and, in case missing should bring to site team attention, then machine plant operation and workers, operators and workers. I'm going a little faster for reading purpose. Don't mind it, please. I cannot sit where I will talk, wasting time. So ensure all machinery equipments are operated only in professionally prescribed design manners, with all protective guards and devices in place, serviceable and factory secured. Wear suitable safety clothing or protective equipment. Use all appropriate safety devices. Avoid work when not properly equipped with related PPE and personal protective equipment. Carry out work. Carry out equipment operational works in line to compliance with the prescribed safety adherence systems. Observe all safety rules, practices, procedures, and regulations. Respect and observe all instructions given by supervisors. Must 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 report. Sorry, something. Must report to the supervisor any whatever accident, dangerous occurrences, or damages to whatever company property, irrespective of whether or not sometimes someone is injured or not injured. Must report to their supervisor all accidents themselves. Whilst at work, shall inform their supervisors about their being temporarily unfit due to stress or fatigue. Suggested better not to do job when not fit rather than involving with accidents. Keep their workplace clean, tidy, and free from defects and debris. Must report to their supervisor any or whatever defect, fully fault leakage, or some other problems is erupting with some machinery, equipment, etc. They may be used for operating. Then vehicle, mobile plant operators. Sorry. Confirm to all points of machines, plant operators and workers. In addition, following points, all vehicles, mobile plant operators must be in possession of a current driver's operator license certificate pertaining to a particular vehicle or plant they shall be driving or operating. Drive defensively where internal roads or signs instruct as such. Vehicle and plant operators are not to drive or operate any vehicle or item or mobile plants in a way likely to cause damage or injury to self, vehicle, and plant or some other person. Do not use any vehicle or plant for purpose other than as intended for. Do not carry any passenger other than vehicle is intended for. All passengers carried must have adequate seating or hand holes designed for intended purposes. Then accidents and dangerous occurrence procedures. All accidents must be reported to site, the foreman, project manager, and the safety department. In event of some accident, the project manager and the public relations manager must be informed immediately. They shall then complete necessary procedures for reporting and recording accident irrespective of whether or not someone was injured. In event of personal injury, public relations manager shall inform necessary authority and complete relevant reports for submission. Project manager and safety department shall also be informed. Conduct an investigation as to whether or whatever cause of accident or as accident to ascertain whether or not accident would have been avoided if so how. Once again, to conduct an investigation as to whatever cause of accident to ascertain whether or not accident would not have been avoided and if so how. Then, if reports are conclusive based on investigation, record a lesson learned for further reference to avoid, for future reference to avoid a similar accident or occurrence. Safety department with assistance of project manager shall provide a report on accident to be submitted to managing director with some commitments or recommendations for some actions to be taken in order to avoid a repeat occurrence. Lessons learned must be referred to for approval and implementation on the form of company recorded history documents, as well as for consultations to all related personnel to implement certain findings with possible action in future. Machinery. Trained and competent personnel only must operate all machines. All guards and fences must be in place and serviceable prior to some machinery is brought to use. All electrical connections must be industrial fixed and declared safe by a qualified electrician. All machinery current leakages should lead to earth and be connected to an earth leakage trap. All faults or damages to machinery must be reported by immediate. Machine must be declared immobilized until fault is repaired, and after having been repaired, machine is declared safe use by a covered by a competent person. Safety locks should be fitted to machine controls to mind, prevent inadvertent operation. Once again, safety locks should be fitted to machines control to prevent unintended operation of machine, the equipment. All equipment used for whatever purpose must be fully serviceable and free from damages. All specialist equipment shall be kept in a clean and safe condition. Lifting or hoisting equipment shall be tested and declared safe, and a safety fitness certificate issued by independent third-party agency permitting it. Then lifting and hoisting equipment shall be tested and declared safe, and a safety fitness certificate issued by an independent third-party agency pertinent equipment. All defective equipment must be reported immediately to relevant manager and not used until it has been tested and declared safe by a by a competent person. Personal protective clothing and equipment. Dr. Yawn. All personnel working on site or within or whatever parts of site require to use suitable and approved PPE and overalls, whatever could be a case. Without wearing such PPE and overall, personnel shall not be allowed to work on industrial site. Protective clothing, footwear, worn on job site, workshop, warehouse, and must be appropriately suitable, approved for work being carried out. Steel toe cap shoe boots are recommended for all company sites and workplaces. Safety helmets should be worn at all places where exists a risk of falling or ejected. All personnel working in whatever area or with working in whatever process, all personnel working in whatever area or working on whatever processes where eyes are prone to damages, a person shall wear industrial grade eye protection. A full face shield, body and hand protection, rubber gloves must be worn when handling some acids, caustic solutions, or some other harmful chemicals or substances. A specialist purpose made goggles shall be worn during some burning or gas welding processes. Welding masks or hoods are required to be worn for all electrical welding processes. Heavy duty gloves shall be worn for all burning or welding process. Okay. Let's say welding masks or hoods are required to be worn for all electric welding processes. Heavy duty gloves shall be worn for all burning or welding process. Hearing protection should be worn where noise levels exceed acceptable limits, namely 85 decibels per heat hour shift. All personal enters consumed space or areas where toxic features, fumes are likely to be present or available. Oxygen level not being adequate to ship support is the most Then hearing protection should be one where noise levels exceed acceptable limits, that is 85 decibels per 8 hours. All personnel entering a confined space or areas where toxic fumes are likely to be present or available, oxygen levels are not being adequate to support life must wear respiratory or breathing apparatus. Employee working in a hazardous or confined area where possibility exists of harmful, flammable, toxic gases, vapors, or some other substance, personnel must report Fax to supervisor immediately, obtain necessary equipment, and follow all laid down safely procedures applicable for that particular process. Work gloves should be worn when handling of some metals likely to cause an injury to hands. Sandals and flip-flop must not have worn by workers on or in area of a company sites or workshops. Those using sandals or flip-flops with no entry to work area should be allowed to do all such workers, persons not using PPs, and if you shall not be allowed to enter work areas, rubber gum boots should be worn when working in wet concrete. Life jackets, buoyancy flotation devices must be worn and made available when working in over or near water. Safety belts and harnesses should be used and when working at height, when no safety devices, scaffolding, staging, or nets are available on when okay when safety belt harness should be used when working at a height where no safety decisions, scaffolding, staging, or nets are used in way of uh, safety belts when norms must be attached to a same hardware. Right. Safety belts when one must be attached to a secure anchor structure or lifeline. Information instruction. Prime philosophy: safety of everyone is first consideration prior to commencement. Commence whatever work. Safety is the responsibility of one and everyone. Safe work practices lead to good health to person and to project. Health is wealth in real terms for relations with health. Once arrival and arrival at home. Zero personal accident tolerance policy, zero works related tolerance policy. Then no safety, no pain, and no safety, no pain. Spelling is KNOW, no SAFTY. By safety, no pain. And if no safety, no pain, KNOW, no pain. Safety of existing services that are means to that are means for operations in first community. Safety of existing services that are meant for operations or for commitments. Communities liabilities damages to existing services can lead to stoppage of facilities, costing image, costing huge sums lost for growing the okay. Safety of existing services that are meant for operations or for communities. Liabilities damages to existing services can lead to stoppage of facilities, costing huge losses to production and also results into certain facilities. Health ignorance to ignorance, health ignorance. Results ignorance to safety actions on plants can result into massive fire breakdown, non-prime consideration of prime considerations. I just moved the little. So half an hour, more than half an hour. Hmm. Prime considerations. Habit to carry out work with proactive safety involvement and compliance determinations lead to safe works without causing any accident. Construction activities involve considerable hazards and measurable controllable risks, which invite attention of everyone involved for hazard mitigations. It's also necessary that efficient safety management system should be simple and proactive so that involved personnel should know and understand for past actions to complicated technical and motorist situation. Sorry. Sorry. It's also necessary that efficient safety management system should be simple and proactive so that involved personnel should know and understand for positive actions. Too complicated, technical and monotonous statements would withdraw personnel from proaction towards the safety management. Safety management system can work efficiently when involved personnel are safety oriented, conscious, believe in good health, believe in friendly environment, and care for respect, responsibility, and accountability. System success can be evaluated only through a defined descriptive process of acceptance, adoptions, complying with provisions to work safely. Each worker should understand that working safety is a responsibility of everyone. Each worker should understand that working safety is a responsibility of everybody, irrespective of whatever job title is assigned. Safety management system measures review, analysis and response to all areas of lost or lost patients. Target is to zero accident assurance. Cost effective or impacts cost effects or impacts ought to be to allow for costs should be consi- considered keeping in view budgetary provisions, but an optimization should be resolved. Then cost effects or impacts to an overall project cost should be considered keeping in view budgetary provisions, but an optimization should result. Safety, incurable cost, pragmatism should assist the safety management. Safety targets and objectives. Philosophy behind provision of safety is to achieve zero accidents objectives to attain implementation of which requires a thorough understanding of safety definitions. Another requirement is to cause no damage to existing property as well. Foregoing explanations have included philosophies refer to previous paragraphs and then statistics. Establish evaluation formula for injury frequency rates calculations and define lost work days cases and lost many hours due to accident. Then lost man hours due to safety observations. Then property damage. Ensure that property damage incidents are evaluated and recorded correctly. Define investigation criteria respecting all such incidents. Define reporting and follow-up criteria, including a retrofitting and reinstatement. Fix the responsibility about who shall quantify losses. How shall such losses be covered within provided budget? Okay, property damage. Ensure that property damage incidents are evaluated and recorded correctly. Define investigation criteria respecting all such incidents. Define reporting and follow-up criteria, including retrofitting and reinstatement. Take responsibility about who shall quantify losses, how shall such losses be covered within provide with budget. Just said percent property damage, and this is also going to be investigated and then advised. It's then. mm, Ensure that property damage incidents are evaluated and recorded correctly. Define investigation criteria respecting all such incidents. Defines reporting and follow-up criteria, including the retrofitting and reinstatement. Figure responsibility about who shall quantify qualified losses. How shall just such losses be covered within provided budget. And publicity and promotion. Available resources are made use of to an extent optimally possible without causing any waste, any damage. Yeah. Available resources are made use of to an extent optimally possible without causing any wastage. Issue of safe bodily issue of safety bulletins information, a successful operation, man hours lost against the total number of man hours utilized, awarding those complying regularly with safety requirements. Then we say publicity and promotion done illustrative schemes. Initiatives should be planned with no degree of partiality allowance. Recognize certain personnel who is in real term. Prove to okay. Incentive schemes. So it's very important the schemes, and we have to just understand that. Incentives should be planned with no degree of partiality to partiality allowance. Recognize certain personnel who in real terms of who involved in safety, promotion, proven activity. Award cannot be given for namesake, but with proven acts, achievements, or works affected such area. Award, award cannot be given for namesake, but with proven acts, achievements, or works affected successfully and efficiently. Awarded personnel must be announced for others to be encouraged, and others must feel to comply with safety issues. Then others must feel to comply with safety issues sincerely to reach a stage of award. Then awards should be quite attractive work for a worker who should feel pride while receiving such award. If it cannot be a television, a video camera, or cash, etc. In addition to an award. Okay. Then we'll go further. Posters company. Ensure a strategy is designed appropriate, suitable to project activities. A staff should be allowed higher such style of awards, say written competition for slogans or keeping office room best tidy. Questionnaire can be circulated if failed and stand back for alternative maximum and alternate achieving maximum number required for selection for an award. Posters for best safety sketch or cartoon or scenarios can be encouraged for competition. Drawing given detailed explanations by activity sketches or for workers. And we target both. Do I decide activity location? Hmm. Target goals. Decide activity location, decide layout designs, review construction program, and access required to template. Then can say review construction program and assess requirements and induction fields and tasks and specific topics. Establish whether or not or the non-EPC contractor should also be available for providing relevant data of figures. Exhibition and displays. I'm trying to. It's a very boring subject. What to do? I can't help it. Establish whether or not other non-EPC contract resources are available for providing the relevant methods and activities. Films, instruments, stage supplement toolbox, also safety training films. I explain to you toolbox also how to use tools safely. Means whatever tool is there, a grinder is there, you can say a knife is there, you can say many other items are there. Take care of that. Exhibition and displays. Establish periodic events for highlighting areas of concern, photographs, black music articles, museum articles. Arrange an event that demonstrates and proves compliance or non-compliance with an effective or effectively. Right. Safety bulletins. Design a format that can highlight some accidents, incidents, and promotions Bulletins should be regularly issued from various significant sites regarding successful safety performance, line management, safety newsletters. Site safety has specific newsletters to be issued, identify scope of articles, the announcement of personally commented or safety article written by safety personnel, etc. Establish frequency, interaction, interval, frequency interval, where monthly, bi-monthly, or quarterly. Hard hazard identification. Hazard, hazard we call it. The chart control and analysis sheets incorporated with the HSE plan and their effective use in field identification of certain new hazards and new update hazards control shows accordingly. Hazard identification, there are certain new hazards and updates hazard control. Risk assessment. Develop project implementation program. Develop project implementation program. Identify scope that is for all works, hazards, portions. Deliberate with construction personnel about implications on time and cost. Identify third-party impact if certain activity so involves. Analyze and design a format for approval and recording system. Construction engineering method statements for HSE analysis. Review further activities requirements on project. Allocate responsibilities for activities assessment. Consider technology of activity in relation to risk involved. Design, format, and approval process. Risk assessments based on construction work method statements shall require review and approval by safety group. Confer with construction personnel about construction procedures and chart out safety methods activity-wise based on possible hazards. Allocate responsibilities for ensuring distribution and implementation. Safety review. Define audit schedule. Define who is responsible for project activity during audit. Conduct audit without consuming considerable time. Write observations and reasons for missing actions or entities. Ensure review report is communicated to all appropriate related parties. Task observation. Draw, draw agreed format for supervision to periodically monitor work activities. Make a decision that contractors should formally assess individuals. Hazardous substance audit for trade. Chart out procurement strategy for identifying possible hazardous substances prior to purchase. Define policy on the storage respecting all such materials. Define a procedure for receipts and issues of hazardous substances. Lay down rules on trading and users, including defining protective measures. Toolbox talks routine activity. Toolbox talk bears practical significance at very initial site work level. Specific talks for specific topics or tools must be made a regular act. Every tool's use is to be demonstrated to workers. Records of tools box stocks should be made orderly. All foremen and supervisors should be trained to conduct all toolbox talks to workers in respect known languages. It's important that until and unless use of tools is not made clear to all workers shall use tool respectively, leading to accidental injuries. Toolbox talk session is considered insignificant by some inexperienced engineers and supervisors, but its due professional weight must be regarded. It's a must even if workers already know about. Energy response. Define all steps necessary to implement a response policy for emergency state situation evacuation. Training. Key personnel require training to respond to such emergency situations. Well-designed fire drills require to be conducted frequently. Safety managers and engineers obliged to define and manage such drills. Safety managers and other safety-related officials obliged to train all personnel on site about how to handle such situations. Observations recorded during drills should be circulated for corrections in future or further comfort during short conferences. Evacuation and response procedures. During emergencies, site or related areas require evacuation immediately without waiting. Personnel cannot be left to fire risks. All enforced safety working arrangements require re-examination about whether or not adequate to meet current emergency situations. Set out fire plan for all prone areas in all directions, giving full considerations of possible spread of fires. Define an assembly area to facilitate gathering all personnel in emergency situation and should be located distant from fire origin. Chart out all arrangements about providing first aid and regular medical aid by shifting victims using ambulances to nearest either a medical center or a hospital. Appoint fire situation wardens for all sections who shall count respective heads during emergency withdrawal of personnel and examine who is fire affected. Allot fire warden and first aiders or appointed personnel delegations to assist during such fire breaks. Provide contingencies arrangements on site adequate to treat traumatic victims. Accident investigation. All accidents occurring on sites require mature attention by rescue medical aid, investigation and reporting with precautionary measures as well as insurance claims applications. Investigation panel and following actions. Immediately after accident has been reported, site managers and safety managers shall send alert arrangement for rescue operations where possible. Call action services also calculated to be essential. Send victims to hospital. Charge out. Chart out investigation through appointment of certain competent panel. Competent panel shall investigate causes, photograph sites and causes, interview those witness accidents, form opinion, and if so required, conduct reconstruction model to reach as much accuracy as could be practically feasible. Investigation report shall be circulated to all concerned key personnel. Further action shall be requested by all those who are responsible for such post-accident actions. Victims shall be attended by competent officials both in hospital as well as in camp post-discharge. Rest shall be allowed to victim. Patients supported by nursing is directed by doctors. All required medicines and food shall be provided. Full attention shall be cared for allowed during victim's hospital stay. Post-discharge, victim patients to live in accommodation shall be provided until recovery and work fitness is certified by medical experts. Insurance claims shall be moved by responsible officials. All updates shall be informed to EPC contractor and engineer general as well as specific cares. General and specific care. Types of heat stress. Following information is provided to enable a program of education to be developed for all employees on project with regard to the important subject of heat stress. Heat stroke. Heat stroke is an acute and dangerous reaction. Sorry. Heat stroke is an acute and dangerous reaction to heat stress caused by a failure of heat regulating mechanisms of body, namely a breakdown of employees' temperature control system. Listen, a breakdown of employees' temperature control system that causes sweating. Body temperature may rise so high that brain damage and death can result if person is not cooled down quickly, expeditiously. Symptoms. The symptoms of heat stroke. It's red, hot, dry skin, although Person may have been sweating earlier, nausea, dizziness, confusion, extremely high blood pressure, rapid respiratory and pulse rate, unconsciousness state, or in coma. Actions. Casualty must be cooled down and medical and sought immediately with person transported to site medical facilities. Heat exhaustion. Heat exhaustion is a state of very definitive weakness or exhaustion caused by loss of fluids from body. This condition is much less dangerous than heat stroke, but must be treated early to prevent eventual deterioration of the heat bodies. Heat exhaustion is a state of very definite weakness or exhaustion caused by loss of fluids from body. This condition is much less than that heat stroke, but must be treated early to prevent eventual deterioration to heat stroke. Symptoms are pale, clumsy, moist skin, profuse perspiration, and extreme. Uh, Again, I'll system of this because this is a little complicated. These are pale, clumsy, moist skin, profuse perspiration, and extreme weakness. Body temperature is normal, pulse is weak, and rapid. Okay. Then cramps, cramps. Heat cramps are caused by perspiration that's not balanced by adequate fluid intake. Heat cramps are often first sign of a condition that can lead to a heat stroke. Symptoms: acute, painful, acute, right? Then symptoms can say acute, painful spasm of voluntary muscles, abdomen, and extremities. Heat rash. Heat rash is caused by continuous exposure to heat and humid air and conditions, aggravated by chafing clothes. Condition decrease ability to tolerate it. Mild rash, especially in areas of body in coming in contact, coming with proactive gear. Heat rashes caused by continuous exposure to heat and humid air and condition aggravated by chafing clothes. Condition decreases ability to tolerate heat and mild symptoms are mild red rash, especially in areas of body in contact with proactive care. Now there's a small list which I can say that this is regarding hazard analysis and control program sheet samples only for information. For example, because the civil works, there's an excavation issue, concreting and shuttering issue, then general is transportation of gas cylinders, and then general is gas cutting, and general is grinding, and general is welding, then general is diesel engines, and then mechanical installation, maybe radiography and mechanical commissioning with pressure testing, and then electrical installation of cable drum handling, electrical installation of cable pulling, electrical installation of cable laying, cable termination, and general is material handling, and general is handling of steel, and general is handling of thumb, timber, and say those are so, then civil works you can say, and I say general is material handling and handling of steel, handling of timber. Then civil work is I'm just giving some examples of the concrete pours and steel fixing and backfilling of excavations and mechanical installations, like transportation, lifting of heavy equipment, and temporary works or erection of scaffolding, Temporary is the provision and maintenance of safe scaffolding, and temporary is also the swelling of scaffolding. And general is this is use of hazardous substances. Then fabrication of say fabrication of you can say erection of fencing, and then fabrication of gates, and then the cell blocks is erection of gates. Then channel is removal of waste material, and mechanical is erection of steel work. Mechanical is erection of steel work and installation of pipeline and valve and things, well fittings. Electrical works, and then cell blocks rock drilling. Then if you go further, learn civil works is rock blasting, and site preparation is earth waivers, and channel is site transport. So if you go further, little one, let's say example of just giving certain examples in a brief and not complete. There are so many activities can be further enlisted, and hundreds of activities, and can say job controls and hazards can be studied in the example. For example, gas control hazards, excavation. Sketches you can refer to. I put some sketches on this URL. You can go through and see that 75 sketches. And the hazards example is cable pipeline buried underground, and you have to excavate. You don't know where it is, what's location. An existing structural building is there, and you're going to excavate. You don't know what load is coming that, what's depth of that foundation, how it is, and there may be many buildings around, and you can say you have to take care of that because that portion of building is consolidated one. It's not simply loose soil. Foundation below foundation is very well built up and consolidated structure of that soil, and you cannot disturb that. So existing pipe being stuck or cracking at joints. They may exist services, water services, solar services. Vehicles, plants driving into excavation. You have to take your machine excavator into excavation, excavated pit, and you have to take out that, and you have to take some other compacting machine also there to take out that. Personnel falling into excavation is also very significant. It's very, very significant. And the collapse of excavation, caving in, either for shoring, support of that, the accumulation of gas, water, and control measures are. This was just with the hazards we just identified there, and the control measures we have to apply with our cable detection instrument as a tool to be used prior to excavating in order to determine cable routes. And no direct excavation by mechanical equipment should be conducted in that case. Services record drawings to be consulted to determine existing cable pipeline route. Trial hand digging excavation to be undertaken in order to verify cable pipeline route. Detailed study to be undertaken if excavation work is to be carried out adjacent to existing and or temporary foundation building. Temporary shoring or supporting of structures in order to prevent collapse to be approved and completed prior to commencement of excavation. Pipework or cables exposed by excavation to be supported. Stop barriers to be provided where necessary at excavation edges in order to prevent vehicles driving into them. Banksmen to be provided whenever vehicles are working adjacent to excavations. Guardrails to be erected around excavations where risk of falling being 1.2 to 2 meters or more. Excavations deeper than 1.2 meter to be adequately open benched or supported. Certain soils do not allow benching where excavations should be protected by supports. Continuous dewatering is required when soil is susceptible to subsidence by water. A survey of area to be carried out to assess risks to whatever adjacent structures and utilities that may exist. Operators to be briefed on certain identified potential hazards. Prior to commencement of excavation, it has to be structurally studied or analyzed whether or not proposed excavation will result in subsidence of adjacent structures. In such a situation, excavation cannot be commenced with until that portion is well protected against such risks. Adequate access arrangements should be made for all concerns to ingress and egress. Ingress and egress from trench are fit safely. Benches or ramps may be constructed if soil properties so permit and required land area is available. Let's say analysis for certain others. Let's say this says concreting and shuttering, including suspended slabs. Hazard, what can be there? Unsafe means of access onto shuttering, manual and mechanical handling and use of cement concrete, then use of hand tools, power tools, and suspended slab formwork, and supporting system cup blocks 2.4 meters into 1.424 meters, 2.4 into 1.2 meter grid locations of that system horizontally. Unless of control measures could be here, this is also risk assessment. No control measures could be, not necessarily what I'm going to tell is that one, but can be different one depending on case. That is, access for personnel to carry out work on shuttering to be planned, working platform required to be temporarily erected for columns and beams, access platforms to be erected for whole area for access, stepped ladders. Stepped ladders means the ladders comprise of threads and risers to be erected when higher level works are carried out. Ladders shall not be allowed in such cases. No nails should be allowed to be dropped here and there. All nails should be removed from site in every case, for nail can puncture into feet of workers. Safe means of access to be provided at all times in order to prevent risk of fall from height. Suitable and sufficient crane hoisting to be provided in order to alleviate manual handling of shuttering and associated components. Manual handling procedure to be developed and implemented if so required. For manual handling, assembly of forms should be done on site location rather than in carpentry shop or yard. Mechanical handling of assembled or fabricated sites to be controlled by experienced slingers. Where necessary, banksman consideration for guiding crane operators, high wind conditions and associated risks to be recognized. Personnel to be provided with appropriate PPEs during work involving cement concrete, gloves, rubber safety footwear, RPEs means respiratory protective equipment, hearing protection, eye protection, etc. Training to be given Training to be given on hazards associated with work with cement concrete. Hands and power tools to be properly maintained. Defective tools shall not be used. Generally, electric saws and electric drills are used on form, which must be protected during work. Industrial electrical sockets be used for protection. Defective tools shall not be used. Hand and power tools to be properly maintained. Training to be given on hazards associated with work with cement concrete. Which says all this, I said hands and power tools to be properly maintained. Defective tools shall not be used. Generally, electrical saws and electrical drills are used to on forms which must be protected during work. Industrial electrical sockets should be used for protection. Dangerous moving parts of machinery to be guarded. Proper handling of needle vibrators should be compact vibrate concrete should be instructed. Carpenters must Instructed carpenters must be available on continuous examination of loosening prop supports. Pouring concrete is a continuous operation which makes it necessary to arrange cold liquids from for consumption to prevent dehydration during hot hours as well as rest pause intervals during cold weather. Tea or coffee should be allowed to switch served. Rest pauses must be planned for workers in stages or groups. Washout area for concrete trucks to be identified and prevent buildup of waste concrete A note is washout area for the green trucks to be identified to prevent buildup of waste concrete. Suspended slab formwork is very critical. Suspended slab formwork. Suspended slab formwork. Suspended slab formwork items too significant to consider from preparatory works possible collapse viewpoint. I'm calling it preparatory or preparatory work. You can say it's not temporary work, it's a preparatory work because it's done according to designs, lines, and labels. Experience tells that many accidents during suspended slab concrete, ongoing pour, on forms have been reported even at international reputed contracting companies' projects. Supporting system of scaffolding requires an urgent attention in this regard. Proprietary supporting system such as couplocks members are used to support slab forms, which comprises of structural steel tubing, piping, connecting members, say at grade 2.4 into 1.2 meters, through except in corners or constrained locations, where on-site dimensions are separately fabricated and also at stair locations. Such system design requires professional attention, vertical forces actions from defined grid sizes, bending moment sections on verticals and horizontal members, and shear forces actions, deflections, etc. must be ensured to be within tolerable limits so as to avoid structural failure during pouring as well as during duration until concrete achieves its demanded strength. Direct load to vertical members say 3 ton, bending moment say 1 ton meters, and other forces etc. You can check. Certification of system fitness of use for intended purpose from proprietary system supplier or vendor must then be obtained prior to pouring activity. Ensure weather and concrete temperature during hot weather conditions that defined limit 5 degrees Celsius to 32 degrees Celsius does not exceed. Do not start in daytime, work at night time if possible to pour. Do not allow workers get tired during pouring. Provide cold drinks and food if necessary. Then there's another activity which is transportation of gas cylinders and hazards of fire, explosion during transportation, manual handling and health risk. Control measures could be cylinders to be supported during transportation in order to prevent them from falling over. Cylinders to be segregated by type in order to prevent fire explosion risk. Valve caps to be fitted to all gas cylinders during transportation. Loading, offloading of cylinders to be carried out by competent person utilizing correct slinging knowledge. Then cylinders being offloaded from vehicle should not be dropped to ground and shall not be rolled. Then only vertical position handling is permissible. Horizontal handling may result in leakage through valves leading to hazards. While cylinders are transported by vehicle in city, an alert should be sounded en route about travel so that others keep off vehicle, avoiding possible explosive danger. Then let's say gas cutting. Gas cutting activity can pose hazards such as cylinder explosion, damage to eyes, fire, explosion risk, live plant. You can say a control measures could be oxygen cylinders, valves, fittings to be kept free from grease, oil, flashbacks, arresters to be fitted to gas cylinders, gas hoses and gauges to be maintained in a safe condition and inspected daily. Defective hoses and gauges are to be replaced immediately. Cylinders to be used in vertical position and secured against falling. Personnel carrying out gas cutting operations shall not wear suitable eye protection. Suitable measures is provisions of fire blankets, fire relays, fire personal cylinders to be used in vertical position secured against falling. Personnel carrying out gas cutting operation shall wear suitable eye protection. Suitable measures provisions of fire blankets, fire watchers shall be used to prevent risk of fire during cutting operations. Prior to gas cutting operations in live plant area, good gas checking shall be carried out, and work would proceed in accordance with permit to work requirements. Then construction safety relevant sketches. Certain brief notes have been indicated on each sketch for reference. Numbers indicate sketch designations. Sketches have been produced based on personal knowledge, experience from engineering field. An attempt has been made to cover all significant building activities that expose threat to life and accidents do result in due to non-compliance respecting all such safety procedures. These procedures do not cost considerable but save time and cost when occurs in. So only small conclusion here is foregoing these contents are given relate to excellence preventive steps in construction of buildings and facilities projects. Covered scopes are as follows: procedures to prepare workers to know, safety methods on heavy work site, procedures to comply with project management SHE disciplines and middle and online administration, and procedures to comply with requirements by use method statements, a part of pure work training in writing, guidance to keep safety training by sketches for or in general activities. And this is Wasmir paper that I tried to submit, and there are some sketches. The sketches carry like this. If I again go to text of this video, we'll find the URL that's giving that one sketches, and I can say that I'll give a pin of the sketches are here. Yes, I'll just tell what sketches all about. And sketches are this. If you say this sketch number one, which is about sketch number one. Yes, this is regarding excavation. This is a trench excavation safety, safety railing and ladders. Then trench excavation safety, major building ordinary foundation, safety rails and ladders. Then it is excavation safety for major building project, raft foundation, safety rails, ladders. Then there is it is excavation safety, benching, well pump dewatering, major building, clay soil, safety rail, ladders. Then it's excavation safety, benching, sump to manhole, dewatering, major sandy soil safety, rails, and then support to existing building surcharge during excavation safety guardrails, working platform, multi-story building, metal stepped stairs, scaffolding on firm base, then scaffolding working platform with safety shade, and scaffolding supports column forms on slab, then scaffolding support concrete pouring platform, then embankment around radioactive compounds, then scaffolding high-rise building from various levels, then tower crane location for major building high-rise, tower crane booms striking clash to be avoided. A general hospital building complex layout, Then hospital building overhead tower crane location work sinking work without striking each other covering full covered area scope. Then scaffolding requirements indicated by number notation depending on numbers of levels stories scaffolds are required. Then pipe rack base foundations cast in situ all safety precautions required for excavation access pumping pouring low level working when precast yard safety handling safety during transportation light poles foundations both yard safety and transportation and offloading said adherence required. Then this below ground sump chamber RCC excavation safety dewatering formwork safety rebar safety scaffolding pouring test backfill. In RCC precast heavy covers for manholes and handling and transporting safety. A vessel basis grounding by continuation chemical the complete safety on channel. It says heavy compressor tabletop, RCC, excavation, safety, dewatering if required, foundation, massive block for form rail. Then seawater reservoir basin for purpose of circulating cooling water to various hot working machines, RCC structure, excavation, mass foundation, thick wall, pump rooms, water filling more than 12 meters, testing external backfill. Then LNG tanks of 10,000 cubic meter capacity, pre-stressed concrete, containment structure, tank wall, cryogenic steel metal structure, activities for safety, indicated on sketch, safety essential for activities being deep excavation, dewatering, low soil removal, imported fill, laying granular materials, heavy machine, compare basis. Heavy machines compacted over blinding concrete, rod foundation, RCC wall circular in plan, say 50-meter high structure, cupola above, movement, metal, temporary, temporary metal steel. Cupola from fabrication and lifting by compressed air to 50 meters height. Then then boring RCC on cupola raised cantilever platform at that height. Then processing and boosted extension grouting around around tendons no epoxy coating in on containment complete above ground production on internal surface of concrete. That's about road diversion, traffic diversion of road for infrastructural revise activities, infrastructure service activities, road signs, speed limits, traffic on earth, traffic in earth, sequence, Bharat Samaj. See, this safety is road signs, speed limit, traffic in sequences, or two halves, one finished first and then other followed. Safety it is concrete sleepers, warning colors, diversion, and flagsmen, reflecting high lights. Then it is road. You can say suspended slab supporting system for concrete above chances of collapse During concrete point pouring, if design of system ignored, proprietary system is used, complete supports designs, analysis is essential. It's then check loads, bending moments, shear force and deflection, obtain vertical. The sketch 25 is about this one, and then we'll go to other one. The project organization chart. It says what's there should be simple ways. So there's the corporate office, and then who are there in this corporate office, and there are site office, object office, where these safety people are, where quality people are, where the people are. So all that indicates in this, and that's about in my minimum submission of the sketches. And then there are the papers like this, and I would say that safety is just a paper, but they are this I try to submit somewhere, but they probably don't allow that much time, and it's very small. It's not that big explanation because safety has no limits, and we have to consider each and every aspect of safety. And excavation is very significant part where you have to initiate a project. You have to start a project, and starting a project means it's very complicated job. It's really you can say a project. It's not a desert. It's not a green project. It's a brown work, or you have to start somewhere in a complex situation that there could be many underground services, existing live services may be running, which you are not aware of, and there's no system in this country to have complete records. We are not used to that kind of professionalism as should be. Means if you go and see those people who understand what the engineering is all about, there must be certain records, and these we call record drawings, or can say services drawing, which must tell you where the services are running in, because when you're going to excavate something using heavy equipment, and it can damage services, and maybe the electrical cable is running there, or heavy, or you can say very high pressure water line is running there, or you may say fire water line is running there, and you damage that one, which can, and which is supposed there's some plant facility in nearby, and that line supplying to that, when the plant facility is very expensive, it may be you can say byproduct of plant, or can be original plant, it can be for example ethylene plant, or ethylene plant, or methane plant, or cracking gas and all that, or which is very big, which is very big plant, and it's costs in millions and trillions of dollars, or many billions of dollars. There are heavy machines, and vessels are there, heavy foundations are there, utility services are there, buildings are there, buildings of blast resistant building, or blast resilience buildings, or normal buildings, administration areas could be there, process areas could be there, some electrical substations, struck infrastructure area could be there, admin warehousing could be there. I can say around your plant process area, there are hundreds of services running here and there, and you stop all that because of your negligence of excavation of that local area, which leads the services to this, feeds into that. This means there's output. When there's a complete accident, in that case, the plant may be shut down. Then losses of billions and billions every day. We have to take this very point into consideration in a professional way. We cannot work in a hazard way. I see here everything is in a hazard. Nobody bothers about this. This is very important. One point is bother about what's happening on this start. That you must have a complete responsible person who can do that. And generally, on contrast, you call this person a site agent or project agent, which is responsible contractually between contractor that access the government or state or company or the contractor. Both have to work together to see this, and to run here and there to get all this information. If still available online, then get it online. If it's not available online, you have to visit those authorities, the statutory bodies that are responsible for the water department, or maybe sewage body, or it can be electrical body, or it can be some other kind of body or department itself. You have to find this subtitle and must give this one pays no payments and get that, or they have to come on to science survey and see whether it exists. Before that, it cannot start that. And even if there's suppose expression line is laid, you have to first do a hand excavation, which is essential, because you just take a bit of hand, bit by hand excavation, you may discover so they are existing below substrata. And then you after that, if you find some problem in that line exposed one, it is required to be diverted, or either supported, or something else. You can ask those departments to do that, and once it's all clear, it takes a lot of time. Once I get to the project, a very small project in Doha, Qatar, and it was a very existing manhole chamber. There's a lot of water line was there. It took me personally to go to that department 50 times to get that small chamber diverted, relocated from that place. Of course, I took personal attention that because it could otherwise impact on date of completion of that project. And impact on date of completion of project means loss. You can be imposed with liquidated damages, and that's called LDs. And LDs are very expenses is equivalent to profit. The maximum is of course 10% of cost or trained, but 10% is not a small amount. Why to lose when you can do something? This is empowering to everyone that understand contracts. Of course, I'm talking of safety, but unfortunately, budding engineers and those senior engineers and those engineers who are responsible for projects, they avoid studying contract documents, which are of course legally bound, but legal doesn't mean rocket science and legal doesn't mean physics and chemistry. Ultra it's simple English, of course, some complicated English, some legal terms are there, but engineer must know all that. If you do not know them, you cannot call yourself a competent engineer. Structural design is one part, execution another part, but controls is very important. Technical controls, safety controls, contractual controls, because you may have to face arbitration in future. In arbitration, you know what is arbitration? It's a very complex part. Your work may finish in 1 month, but the arbitration may take 1 year, and your money shall be blocked. You have to know that fact. Your profits would go. You impose with LDs, and you may not agree with that. You may be given extension, and you may not agree with that. You have to apply for certain concessions. You may not get that. It all depends upon contract laws. It depends upon contract. It depends upon how you could understand that. There may be ambiguities in contract. There may be some other clauses which are not required or which are redundant, or there may be missing clauses. There may be arbitration clauses there, and arbitration is not a part of contract. We have to understand that. Arbitration clause is not an integrated part of contract, but an embedded contract in same contract, or it can be a separate document. Contract may be terminated, it may be resigned, it may be, you can say, legally disputed, but arbitration part will not be resigned. That is law in every country. That is why arbitration is very important from construction point of view, from engineer's point of view, from project engineer's point of view, from contractor point of view, from owner's point of view, and from state point of view. Because arbitration is not clearly understood by judges, it's not clearly understood by advocates, it's not clearly understood by legal luminaries, but engineers deal on execution on every project. They must have thorough knowledge, not by legal document, but by practice. Because on sites, on day-to-day activities, it is engineers who are involved, who write letters, who do communication work. It's not advocate, it's not judges who know practical difficulties on site. Site is site. It's not bureaucratic office. It's not something government department. We cannot stick to procedures that are required by these non-technical professionals, which are called judges and called advocates. They think in their own world, but on site it's different world. You are dealing with those people who are highly qualified, and you are also dealing with those people who are, you can say, illiterate, completely illiterate, and you cannot deal with all with same scale, same proportion, same authority, same management system. You have to, and contract is also same. They are not very well qualified. They are engineers. They just try to save money, and they just bring one or two engineers who know something, and others all layman engineer. You can say site produced engineers are there. Maybe just they keep one person for purpose of contract dealing or technical dealing, qualified one, and that's not highly literate, just for purpose of running job they donated. And there are problems all time. To government engineer or client engineer, he also does not understand contract. They do not read his, you can say, specifications very well. They do not treat contract conditions, and there are many contract conditions. Every contract, there may be general conditions, special conditions, specific manufacturers, I can say instructions for technical activities. These people do not understand what they should write, what they should not write. Sometimes they say it's the lowest profile I'm writing to consultant or to engineer, or it is on highest profile, or it's a contractual standard letter. We have to take this differentiation into this contractual standard or no contractual standard or lowest profile, or what is it for information letters letter, the communication is communication. You have to control your future. Everybody has to control its commerce because you are working, you are spending money, you are spending time, it's business. You cannot accept losses if there's no fault on your end. If there's fault from contract, there's fault from engineer supervision, there's fault to someone else. Do not feel shame in writing, in recording. It is very significant. This was I intend to say, though this is safety talk, but yet it's to be brought to attention everyone, because this is also a kind of different safety. Means if you lose, you lose. If you lose, you lose. It's very difficult to make those people understand who generally are arbitrators, though judges and advocates are not required to be arbitrators, because they do not understand contracts very well. To an extent we can understand, engineers can understand, because this is not insurance contract, this is not medical health contract, this is construction contract, this is supply contract, this is maintenance contract. We have to take that part into consideration, because it depends upon hundreds of activities that we work on. It's not simple one railway ticket or bus ticket or flight ticket or one page or 4 pages insurance documents. It is hundreds and hundreds pages of contract documents, which involves contract forms, which involves performance bond, which involves a security bonds, which involves, you can say, guarantee bonds, which involves your specifications of all sorts, which involves many other drawings, many other documents, standard specifications, standard drawings, and correspondences and method statements, and this statement and that statement, pre-contract and post-contract, all involve activities, all are there for purpose of execution. Therefore, FIDIC had got many changes in that. FIDIC has got its own contract. There have been, you can say, dispute resolution boards, etc. Many developments taken place, but engineers do not worry about that. That's the problem. They want to keep off that. That is the reason for that, because you can say basic knowledge of engineers they can develop, but they do not take interest in developing. They intend to stick to their technical work. Laymen work on site, do that, and that's it, and write. Sometimes they don't even want to write because of lack of comprehensive English. Doesn't matter if your English is not comprehensive, but you have to record that. Record is important. If record is available, a person is involved in consultancy to arbitration as well as to other sections of arbitration, can communicate in its own you can say contact language, or you can say arbitration submission language, that letter into that one, that submission, which is more important, because there will be questions. This what action was taken on this. There will be answers on that. If you don't have answer on that, means you will lose something. They have adequate time to talk of this, but you don't have adequate time on day-to-day activities to include that onto your records, and that's the problem. Therefore, senior people are kept on site, engaged on site for this purpose, but they do sometimes neglect, because habit is that. Contract is very intellectual document, because it's not built in one day. It's not original. It's you can say repetition of something, as well as deduction or concession or augmentation of some material on that. FIDIC is used, but FIDIC is not originally used by those people. It's amended for every contract. Architects take that into their own way. Engineers take into their own way. You talk to different nationality engineers, you take into their own way. But problem comes in when your own country's arbitration law comes into picture, and which is not acceptable. If somebody asks me about which law you want to apply onto this contract for purpose of arbitration law, in addition to arbitration contract management, I will not prefer our law. I shall not prefer law statute of Bharat India to be included into my contract, because we know what is law here. We know efficiency of law here. We know what sort of judges we have. We know what sort of advocates we have. Generally, you shall find retired judges, Supreme Court judges, High Court judges, they are sitting as arbitrators just for sake of money, because fee is high. They want to earn money. Supreme Court retired judges charges a minimum of 2 lakhs per sitting a day, and that is why they are there. This is power of their position. They occupied before retirement, and now they are selling their position on arbitration. It applies to Supreme Court judges, retired one. It applies to High Court judges, retired one, and senior advocates. If there is a dispute, arbitration appointed goes to Supreme Court and used to appoint subordinate. They are from advocate cadre, not from engineers cadre. Engineers are avoided everywhere because engineers do not come into pictures, into play. And that's what I'm saying. We have to be serious about this. There's an encroachment of profession, and this is because of our lack of knowledge. We don't want to learn. We don't want to know more. We are just living in our worlds of seminar and conferences and journals and papers and all that. We are not exposing ourselves to public. Journals public don't read. Seminars public don't feel. Hardly 30, 40 people are there in seminar, 50 people. Even in engineering congress, there is no more than 300 people. Even a president comes there, doesn't value, because public is off from there. Until we reach public for everything, we are useless community. Doctors are valuable because access to public is there. Advocates are accessible. The access to public is there. People know judges, people know advocates, people know CA, people know all this. Doctors they know, but people don't know engineers, because engineers live within their fence of sight. They are not accessible community. You are working behind scene. You are not valued that way. You have to expose yourself. You have to tell people what I can do for you, what I am doing for you. You know my job, but we are not that way. We always take off and off. We are not exposing ourselves, and until we do that, you may be great, you may be chief, you may be engineer member, you may be whatever. Doesn't make a difference for me until you are used by public. If your work doesn't reach to public, if your standard public doesn't use, if your knowledge public doesn't use, what value you have? You may be anything. Doesn't matter. You may be PhD, you may be professional, you may be international, you may be something, but you are off people, you are off consumer, you are off user. You are useless. You stay in your domain, no problem. What value you talk of lot, write long papers, write something, anything you do, only for your circle, and that doesn't exist. That circle. You call some conference, how many people come? You see, they don't know each other who have come there. There may be professors who know nothing about profession. There were lecturers who know nothing about it, but they are there. They are telling their experts. They are telling everything. They are experts in theory, of course, but from practical point of view, they know nothing. They are professors. It's not criticism; it's a fact. I'm telling that one. So we have. You go to court, they also don't know why engineers. There's no definition, but they understand. It's all our fault because we are not telling people what we are. Everybody wants to be gazetted officer. Everybody wants to be, big company, international company leader, but they don't disseminate knowledge in public. So what I am saying is, we have to change our attitude. This conference this time, this Engineers Day this time, just engineering for change. What does it mean? Have you ever analyzed this small one? Engineering for change, institutional engineers, even this. Engineering for change. What? What change? Engineer itself is the change. Engineer is required to change it. Engineer means a change. Change, everyday change, every minute change, every activity is change. Engineer itself is change. What do you want to talk of? Basic of engineering is, basic fundamental of engineering is change, nothing else. And you are saying engineering for change. What change? Change it. Why discuss? Formulates. You are doing change work all time, every day, and since you were born. But there's no change, there's no quality change, there's no safety change, there's no standard change. Who are they? What we are doing? We are copying, paste, copying, paste, copying. See all codes, copying, paste, copying, paste, copying, paste. Who are there in code fabrications? Professors, institution owners, no practical person there. Same thing everywhere. And see, you write something, nobody will consider that. Write something and see, nobody will consider that. Same every day, parrot type talks, parrot type writing, everything same. It's not criticism of the fact we have to change ourselves. Go and see those countries who change every year their laws. They don't care, they change it, finish. Required is required. And we keep laws pending for centuries. Institution of Engineers Charter 1935. Till now it's same. Why did not take forward this for change? We do not courage to go to parliament and talk to them, change it. Because we are weak community, weakest community. We are afraid of everything. This is a problem with us. We cannot face community. We cannot face people. We just write banners. This is happening. This is Congress. This is seminar. This is this and this is that. What for? People are not getting this. Few people sit there, 300, 400, 30, 40 years sit there and they talk and go. And that's it. No use. No use at all. So we have to teach people. We are teachers also, like doctors are teachers. We also teachers. We are teaching them how to live, how to avail resources, how to minimize cost, how to reduce carbon dioxide, how to do that. This is our job. We are not doing. Still now you say we are using OPC in many projects. We never consider why to use OPC. How many engineers have thought on this? None. We are just going to use that. And we are using OPC, just 25% PFA and that, and that's okay, fine. What fine? Why don't you use GGBS? People will not talk of that. So if you ask, it's not available. This simply how it's available in Gulf, how it's available in Middle East, how it's available, why not available here? We don't try to understand that. If you write some paper, nobody will accept that. We don't understand. We can reduce carbon dioxide content because of GGBS. One bag of cement gives us 50 kilogram bag of cement gives 46 kilogram of carbon dioxide after chemical reaction. And we are using that. Carbon dioxide, every bag of cement, 92% carbon dioxide of its weight it's releasing. If you GGBS, say 70% replacement or 50-60% replacements, it reduces it to 1/8 of that. We are not considering that one because we cannot think. Low reaction, low shrinkage means no cracks. Good surface setting time is more. No cold joints, no honeycombing, no cracks, reduced carbon dioxide. We are getting all these benefits at low cost. But we are not thinking towards that. We cannot think because not born to think, just to following engineering community, not leading engineers community. In government, nobody leads, we know. Private people are careless. So who will lead them? You can't expect government to lead engineers. You cannot expect that. Engineers have to lead themselves everywhere, in every discipline, every setup. But they are not doing that because they are engineers. They are bound to follow. And this is difference of our engineers and other engineers. We are bound to follow. We are not bound to argue. We are not bound to propose. We are not bound anything. Just follow, follow, and follow. This is happening there, we do it. This is happening there, we do it. We follow that. We have no courage to speak. We have no courage to complain. We have no courage to rise. We always sit. So we remain there. This is not fault of one. This is fault of all. Fault of everybody. We cannot even force government to think for our statutory management. We have no courage at all. We want to stay with just like, I don't know why. Ultimately, we are getting nothing, so why to worry? You just go behind politicians, you just flatter them, you get nothing. Why you worry about this? I have links to ministers, I have links to MPs. Only in this way we waste our time. Engineering is not developing in this country. Developing just like kids, it's not developing proficiently. We are getting those materials which were used 25 years before somewhere else. For example, we are using reciprocating pump these days, stationary pumps. Somewhere I seen that transporting concrete from this transit mixer to location of whereas in port, this was done in 1980, 1981, 82, 83. This reciprocating stationary pump was used that time. Now mobile pumps are here. I have not seen anyone in Delhi, NCR. I don't know about Bombay or somewhere what's position there. Maybe there it's available. But we are just rotten people. Nobody understands how it is done, what is best way of concreting, what's best way of formwork, what's best way of level control of slab. Nobody sees what is why. Nobody sees the temperature control, slump control, curing control, nothing. But move on, move on, move on. They are moving on. This is our culture. We are born like that. We cannot amend until someone comes and breaks our heads to it. We are used to that. Millions and millions of engineering professionals, millions and millions of doctors in this country, but country is going down and down and down. Quality is day by day dropping. It may be private building, it may be metro building, it may be international building here. You cannot find hardly maybe 2-3% areas where you may find something pleasing you from quality and safety angle. I have seen metro also. Precast work is fine. That is done under controlled conditions in factory or yard. You go and see closely. Cast in situ portion of that. You'll find facts. Even they have put just mortars on that, just like rubbish mason does on a building in private sector. Metro has done that. I'm surprised. You'll see closely. You'll find some election posters there is hidden, but you just see watch that. You'll find honeycombing in areas. Even going on top corners, eroded one. How concrete can be eroded like this? Precast is okay, but vertical column, which was on cast in situ. You see state of that. If surface is that, what about inside? What is what you can say? Uniform structure it is. Concrete is uniform or heterogeneous, homogeneous. How can you ensure that? How many tests can you conduct? You cannot. You can. Oh, have you conducted tests with it? How could you conduct tests of such thick structure? Oh, sound waves will not tell you everything. My question is, where is quality everywhere? If quality does not come on site work and cast in situ, means there is no quality control, there is no quality assurance, there is no quality adherence. This means there may be engineers, I'm not blaming that. They were good engineers, they did everything, but good engineer doesn't mean keep in office or stay away and leave it to foremen or workers and let them do it. And this happens. Until close supervision is done, we cannot improve quality. Unless close supervision is done, we cannot improve safety. This is big issue. And unless close supervision, even good design is not possible, because design engineers do not understand market as well. They do not understand constructability. Construction ability is very important from this viewpoint. We have to assess what type of problems are expected on site, what types of problems are met in material, how people can solve these problems. Maybe some steel is available, some is not available. I have seen people are using overlap in 25mm dia steel, overlapping that. Why, first of all, why are you using 25mm dia steel? First question is that. Second question is, we are compelled to use that. Why are you using overlap in that? Can't you use mechanical connectors with that? Why? Is available, use that, try tension and get it done. But who will think? They don't want to. It's given in specifications, given in codes we can use and we are using. Means just bound by some document and that's it. No question, no clarification required. It's written for code, we are doing it. Code are man-made. These are not God-made. You made these codes. You think on change them. I have seen people are using 12mm steel in slab. That's required 8mm. It's required 10mm. Oh, it's very strong. We are using so many kilograms of steel per square feet. We are using this. I am using so many kilograms per square feet of slab area, and that's fine. Their technology is different. New design, new concepts are like that. I'm just giving this example to convince you that we are lagging behind our world of engineering. We should be. It's not that. You ask any engineer, they will not understand anything, they will not say anything. OPC, SRC, OPC, SRC, this 25, 30 years back, technology is still moving. The same type of cement is available. There is no concern on that. Safety system, same are moving. You're using bullies, bullies, timber wood, and bullies, vertical members. Still, we are using that. Some bully is vertical, some bully is inclined, some bully is this and some bully is that, and there's no one checking level of slab software, there's no checking on wheels, no straight light controls and no controls. It's going on no concrete controls. So what to say? There's a limit to criticize something. I feel bad also sometimes why I'm criticizing all this. But I am criticizing because it is happening that way. There's no, just people are doing for sake of doing. Nobody understands anything. The structure is delivered, and we have done, yes, very good, finished. They will do. Even plasters will degrade after 1 year. You'll see cracks at all and they are using structure with column and walls and everything. They don't understand what's right or what's wrong, and there's no one to tell them what's right or what's wrong, and they don't want to know that. Well, I tried. I'll take up this further chapters on safety, which are very. I just want to cover whatever I have information to share with you regarding safety, and I'll try to put some more details in coming discussions with more chapters, and then we'll take something else in addition to general affairs. General affairs means national affairs, political affairs, and all that, which all impact on us. For example, economic is down, things down, engineering is affected, industries are affected, economies are, everything is affected by that. And ultimately, it leads to all having losses. So we have to take into consideration all this. I'll take up this information next time. Excavation, many other topics which I tried to include today itself, but I don't have much time here, and I don't know take more time from you people because you all are busy and you have your works, etc. So I'll take some time else. Thank you very much for your kind attention, kind presence, and that's all. I close it now. I tried to talk to in Hindi language, but I'll talk next time because my Hindi is not that sharp. It should be, maybe people take it different way. I or maybe use some terms which are not correct one. But what to do? Our life is like that. We have to use very rough language sometimes. Angry mood be a different language, and it's a working mood. It's not my fault. It's general. Our education is like that. So even English is not very good. I'm not using very competent English. Just working English as a communication purposes. They are solved, and that's all. So what can we? We are engineers. We are born like that, and we are soil people. We are cement people. We are dust people. That's our beauty parlor. My beauty parlor is dust, and you can say bad shirt and bad dusty face and everything. That's beauty of engineer, and that's all. Thank you very much, everyone. Yeah, bye.